Hello, in my new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Weather Cup for the Great League. This cup going to allow only Pokemon that would be boosted by the weathers in the main series game, like Sandstorm, which is then for Rock-type Pokemon. We have for Rain, Water-type Pokemon, for Sun, Fire-type Pokemon allowed, and for the Ice, like Hail, Ice-type Pokemon allowed. So all those four typings are allowed. Of course, mainly Pokemon that have a good secondary typing going to be viable in this meta. This meta mainly going to be Cradily, by the way. If you don't have a Cradily, definitely build this Pokemon if you want to play this cup. Cradily going to be the best Pokemon to use. You see Lantern at rank 1 here, which I kind of disagree with, because Lantern going to get beaten by basically from the top 10 by 9 Pokemon, I guess. I mean, 8 Pokemon then, if you exclude Lantern as well. But yeah, for example, Bastion is still pretty neutral against it, but loses against it. But Cradily, Ludicolo, Swampert, Abomasnow, all of those win against Lantern, so I don't really think that Lantern is too good. Lileep at rank 4 is kind of funny. If you have a Bullet Seed Lileep, you can definitely use it here, sadly. I was asleep while this bug was only around for I think an hour or something, or like I think even half an hour, where you were able to get Bullet Seed onto Lileep. Not possible to get it with an Elite TM. But yeah, the meta going to be pretty small here. You're going to face a lot of Pokemon like Cradily, Abomasnow, also, yeah, Bastion. All those Pokemon have one thing in common: they're weak to Counter. Counter is a very viable strat here. There are only a few Counter users there, and I think most people won't expect it. Blaziken, the best fire Pokemon by far. Sudowoodo can be a funny pick there as well. Lycanroc as well, going to be an interesting one to use. But especially Blaziken should be a Pokemon that you should try to take a look at, because it's also going to be good against the Shadow Razor Leafer, like the Abomasnow, or also like the normal Razor Leaf with the Ludicolo. Another core breaker will be the Sandslash here, which is going to be at rank 15. Basically, I would say everything from rank 1 to rank 15 you can use. Afterwards, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Regice you can use, but very rare to have this Pokemon still. You have to have it like from 2018, when it was like in those research breakthroughs. Poliwrath is still cool to use. Of course, as I said before, Blaziken, you can still use that one as well, but otherwise it goes down pretty fast here. I don't think they're all really viable down there, so wouldn't really take a look too much into that. But yeah, top 15, the thing that you kind of want to take a look at. All those Pokemon are really viable. Not a lot of bulk here, so I think the battle's going to be fast, and let's go right into the teams. The first team here going to be a common theme that you're going to see in this cup. You're going to have the Poliwrath, the Lantern, or the Pelipper in the lead. I think you could also use some other stuff there, like Swampert, for example. Swampert would also make some kind of sense, but some kind of water type. Especially, I like the Pelipper there because you would be able to resist Counter. As a Say-Swap here, you're going to have the Cradily, which is going to be a Say-Swap in a lot of teams, but there was going to be some other options as well. You could also use something like Regirock here. If you have Regirock available for you for the Great League, it's difficult to have them. Like, I have one, but I don't really want to showcase them too much because, as well, most people don't have a Regirock available for Great League. And then you have the Bastion in the back, which is just one of the strongest Pokemon, at least in the meta. You kind of want to have 2 answers though for Swampert, because it's the hardest Pokemon to hit with this Pokemon, so having like at least the lead there of Pelipper might be good, or also the Poliwrath would also have a lot of work against the Swampert, so Poliwrath is definitely also something that you could use. Actually build a team around Poliwrath in the beginning, so I guess Poliwrath does make a lot of sense with that as well. The second team also going to be similar with the backline again. We're going to have something in the lead like the Abomasnow or the Ludicolo or the Razor Leaf. We can have the Say-Swap then of either the Regirock if you have, I just put in there, or the Cradily again. Cradily going to be very strong. You could also, of course, use the XL version of the pre-evolution of Cradily with the not obtainable legacy move Bullet Seed, which basically nobody has instead. But yeah, Cradily is definitely a good pick here. And you can have something like the Bastion or the Toxapex in the back as your bulky wall for the end game. Thing is, Toxapex and also the Reggie are very decent there, but they both fear Swampert, and for Swampert you have the best 2 answers in the lead there. If you have Regirock as a Say-Swap, which actually would work a little bit better here of baiting out the Swampert, this team would most likely be even better, but like you most likely don't have it. So Cradily is the easiest Pokemon to have as a Say-Swap in this meta. It's just very neutral. If you run the Bastion in the back and the lead of the Bombers node can be a little bit tricky against something like Blaziken. Blaziken would be a core breaker for the entire team then, so something like the Toxapex would be a little bit better there. You know what makes it all even better? You can also just flip it around and you're going to have another team that can work, which is kinda, yeah, not really ideal there. It's going to be such an RPS cup again, I think. So we're going to have here the lead of Bastion, the Saysop of Cradilly, and the you could also use a Bomber Snow on the back, but then you're going to be a little bit too weak in my opinion to like Blaziken. Blaziken actually I think loses against the Ludicolo in the 2 shields because he can just farm down with Rather Leaf, and Blaziken is pretty squishy. But in general, counter users are always going to be an issue for those teams. The thing is, you have 2 answers for Swampert or any water type on the back, and that's basically the main reason for this here. And you're going to have decent answers for flying types as well, so yeah, going to be a team that definitely should work out like this as well. Let's go directly to the next one, because the teams are all pretty similar. The next ones are not going to be as similar. When I said the next one going to be more interesting, I actually looked at the next team afterwards, and this team here going to be another super meta team with the top Pokemon from this cup. Again, we have the basically similar backline again. Here you can use this team in 2 different ways. You can either have the Araquanid in the lead, then you need Cradilly or like the Regirock and the Bastion in the back, don't use Swampert. Or you could use the Toxapex in the lead, then you can use either the Cradilly or the Regirock as a Saysop and use Swampert in the back, don't use Bastion. You could also use something with the Toxapex in the back like the Pelipper to have a little bit of a better matchup against Swampert as well. In general, with the lead of Toxapex, I would highly recommend you to use Cradilly as a Saysop, because Regirock would also lose to Swampert then. But yeah, you could use Swampert in the back, you use Pelipper in the back. It's just basically you have like those 10 different meta bonds that you can throw together however you want feel like, and then it's going to be good. But the next 2 teams going to be some anti-meta teams, I promising you. While you still have Cradilly in this team, you can still at least substitute it as well with Kingdra. Kingdra is also a Pokemon that kinda could be interesting at least for this meta. As a Saysop, there's not really an answer for this Pokemon, but it's also not really the best Pokemon against certain Pokemon here as well, so it's a little bit of a trickier one. We're going to have the elite here, which is going to be the most interesting one, which is going to be the Blaziken. They're going to be another Blaziken team afterwards as well, but Blaziken is basically the best anti-meta Pokemon for this meta here. This Pokemon has access to counter, has access to the fire typing, which is also kind of interesting. Of course, has to be a little bit careful about the water type Pokemon, and therefore we're going to have basically most likely 2 grass type Pokemon in the back there. Saysop of Cradilly is pretty nice here because you also will be able to do something against Pelipper. The backline there, you still would be able to beat Pelipper in the 2 shields, so like it's pretty safe team to use, and I think that's going to be a very good anti-meta team. But also because, as you saw before already, a lot of people are going to have some rock types in the back. We're going to take a look how to counter those teams. Next one going to be here one again with Blaziken. This time around as a Saysop, because this Pokemon going to be able to do a lot of stuff as a Saysop as well. Most answers for this going to be something like the Swampert or the Pelipper. Usually you can beat them with the elite here, and you're going to try to set up for the Sudowoodo in the back. Like, if I'm right, we're going to see a lot of double rock type backlines there, so this team here is supposed to at least be able to handle this, especially Sudowoodo going to be an interesting one to use. Don't know how good they're actually going to be. This is of course a little bit more of a trickier one. You could also use something else like a different fire type in the back if you want to. There are different options like McMortar as well, which you could use, which I thought about, but Sudowoodo looks like a fun Pokemon to use. And yeah, let's go into the final team, which you most likely already know which one it's going to be. The final one going to be, of course, the team that I already showcased on my channel just a few hours before I published this video. If you only saw this video yet, they're going to be this video towards this team linked in the end card, where I played against some people from Twitter already in this cup to check this team out. Very good team here. I used the Shadow Alone Sandslash in the lead, but the normal one is, in my opinion, actually a little bit better even in this meta, because you're going to be able to handle those Razor Leafers a little bit better with that extra bulk. You're going to have the Saysop of the Pelipper, which in an ideal world you don't really want to Saysop anyway with this team. You only really want to Saysop if you face something like a Blaziken in the lead, something that really hard walls your lead there, because you kind of have also a very decent combination there between your Pelipper and your Swampert in the back, only really getting broken down by the Cradilly, which your lead already breaks down as well, but you're still going to be able to hit Cradilly for neutral damage with all your moves, so very strong team. Enjoyed it a lot, and yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I would appreciate a like on the video, it helps out a ton, and I see you later for some actual gameplay when this leak drops. See you then, bye bye.